Hello my beautiful people, and welcome to the next in the series of All About the Signs, and today we are here to talk about Capricorn. So we are here, right, nearing the end of the zodiac. Now as many of you know, I have a lot of Capricorn energy in my family. I had a grandfather who was a Capricorn, heavens rest him. I have two sisters that are Capricorns. I dated 3 of you, and I seem to attract a fair amount of you. So with that said, I would like to delve into this sign, and I would like to do it with as much care and attention to detail as possible. So with that said, also, please note that my voice, my opinion, whether it's on astrology, whether it's on tarot, whether it's in numerology, my voice is just 1 in 7 billion. And within the astrological community, my voice is just 1 in many. So these are not supposed to be absolute laws. They are not set in stone. They are not, if you don't have these, then there's something wrong with you or anything like that. It literally just is supposed to be fun, informative. If you're cross-watching for a Capricorn, you know, whether it's a child, a partner, a proposed partner or something like that, that's what it's about. And so just to talk about this, the reason I split the attributes into the lessons and the blessings is because your blessings are things that are innate within you, that come easy, that you are easily able to express for the better part of what they are. The lessons, and the reason I call them lessons, are because sometimes these things are unconscious within us. Sometimes they are a response to the environment that we grow up in, you know, and therefore they remain unconscious until somebody points it out to us and says, hey, look, this can be an aspect of your personality or a way that you express part of yourself, and it's not necessarily beneficial for you because it seems to have a detrimental effect on yourself or other people that you come into contact with. We are all so self-deprecating in life. I am not going to sit here and tell you what your positives and negatives are, what it is that you do that is bad or anything like that. I'm just highlighting to you some of the aspects that are a little bit more challenging for other people to deal with, or even for you to traverse. So with that said, let's delve into the sign of Capricorn, right? I have a big love for Capricorn, always have done, you know, I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's because there's such a precision about you guys, and you know, you're very, very sharp when it comes to things. So Capricorn, whenever you see this glyph right here, that is the symbol for Capricorn. So when you see that in a chart, written down on paper, or if you see it on a, you know, whenever you see this symbol, what you are looking at is the symbol for Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and I mean, as many of you know, I'm an Aquarius, and one of my co-rulers is Saturn, so maybe that's why I have such an affinity for you guys. So this glyph here represents the sign of Saturn. This one actually you will have probably seen quite often if you are into alchemy or anything like that. When you think about it, alchemy is a very precise and exact art, you know, which is one of those reasons. So Capricorn rules the 10th house in astrology, which is where you find your status in the world, where you find your career path, where you find somebody's vocation very often. And you know, when you think about it, the 10th house is literally, when you see it, it's called the MC, right? I think it's the medium chelai, which is like the middle of the sky, basically. But I won't get too much into the houses because those are going to be separate videos, which I think you will find just as exciting. So the cardinal earth sign. So we talked about this in all of the previous videos. Cardinal earth, when you're talking about a cardinal sign, you're talking about the sign that you will find at the beginning of a season. A cardinal sign will begin a season. Capricorn starts in the, you know, in the middle of December. So it kind of kicks off winter, so to speak. And when you think about earth, it's immovable, right? It's the element that we live on. It's the element that sustains life, that provides structure and shelter and all of those things. And that's very often where what you will find within Capricorn. When you think about Capricorn, so Taurus would be the money that you have, or the tangible results of gold, or the gold itself, right? Capricorn is about the structures that house finances. It's about the structure of a company. It's about the infrastructure of companies, of buildings, of and when we talk about companies or even financial institutions, things where you find traditions, like ways that things have been done for a very long time. These are all things that you would associate with Capricorn. And one of the things that I absolutely love about this sign is there is a real constancy about it. When you think about permanence, when you think about things that stand the test of time, you really are thinking about Capricorn. You really are thinking about the traditional aspects of life, the way that things have been done for X amounts of years, and people perceive they should be done for that same amount of time. There's a few things that is worth mentioning for Capricorns as well. In terms of Capricorn, they very often have to parent themselves. There very much is an air of responsibility about them. Even from very young, they tend to have to take on board quite a lot of responsibility, or they will naturally have or be inclined towards that responsibility. And they tend to have one of the things that I find very similar in Capricorn and Leo is they tend to have a very difficult start in life. That there's usually a lot of challenges, things that they need to overcome, things that will have been removed from them or they wouldn't have had access to. And a part of their life goal or their mission is to consistently push through the barriers that are placed in front of them, so that when they get to their final destination or having achieved the status that they go after, they can, really look back and say, wow, you know what, there might not be anybody else to pat me on the back, but I'll fucking pat myself on the back because I made it through all of that. There really is, especially with Leos and especially with Capricorn, there is this energy of the underdog, of the one that, was kind of probably counted out for a little bit, or maybe kind of looked at and said, oh, well, keep trying, pat on the head. And then they come up trumps and end up being the boss of the company or the CEO or being the most well-known or respected in their field. That's the other thing as well about Capricorns. Some people say, oh, well, I don't necessarily like them, but 99% of the people that come into contact with a Capricorn respect them. They might not necessarily like them, but they definitely respect them. There is a powerful aspect to Capricorn, and one of the things I've always believed as well is, you don't want to go head to head with them. You really don't. If a Capricorn, one of my sisters is a Capricorn, and I pay her, we've over the years established that it's actually a compliment. And I used to say to her when we were younger, you're so cold, you're so hard, I could punch you in the heart with my fist and I'd break my hand. And that is one of the aspects that people see of you, certainly in some of the lessons and the more challenging aspects. However, that same strength, that same driving force and courage behind you is also one of your greatest assets, because it allows you to push through even the things that people might say to you on your journey that are unkind or unfeeling. So with that said, let's look at some of your blessings and your lessons. So disciplined, right? Capricorn has this natural inbuilt ability to see the rules, to like the regulations, to want those things to be naturally, they're naturally inclined towards those things. And when you talk about discipline, they're very, very determined in that respect. If they envision a goal and they see the goal and they believe in that goal, you will not stray them from that path. That's one of the reasons that they make excellent generals and, all of that sort of stuff. And it's funny that Capricorn and Capricorn and Aries seem to clash, because they have, in my personal opinion, very similar outlooks on things. So yeah, anyway. Disciplined, absolutely. They know how to marshal all of their internal and external resources to get a job done. Structured, we talked about this. When we talk about structured, we're talking about organized. They could tell you where everything is. There is that precision, that sharpness to them. They are very exacting, very precise. And in order to be those things, you have to be structured. You have to be organized. Mastery. One of the things about Capricorn is whatever they tend their hand to, there is the potential. I mean, it's true for all of us, but especially for this sign, right? They tend to really stick with something until they've mastered it. So this is the sort of person that will start a company as, I don't know, an intern, or what do we call them over here? As an apprentice, and will work their way up. So this is the sort of person that tends to go from the bottom of the pile to the top of the pile. So we'll start as an apprentice and end up the CEO within 35 years, right? This is somebody that knows how to really be disciplined, structured, organized in order to master something. Self-directed, you know, this feeds into this whole idea of having to parent yourself, or having that a lot of responsibility very early on. And usually one of the beautiful things about this sign is they meet that responsibility no matter how young they are. I've always seen Capricorns meet that responsibility head on and flourish because of it. So they have this real sort of self-directed energy about them that enables them to push through and to get to where it is that they want to be in life. Specialized. Now, when we talk about specialized, they know how to be precise. They know how to hone in on something. And when you think about specialists, people that are specialists carry in some way, shape or form that kind of Capricornian energy. It's about, seeing the goal, seeing the vision, seeing the end result and saying, right, whatever I have to do between where I am now and where I would like to be, I will traverse that path no matter what it comes with. So when we talk about specialized, it's that ability to hone in on something, to really look at the facts and to separate things out. One of the things that you don't really hear about Capricorn is they're fantastic at compartmentalizing things. They can really break something up and then put it together in the correct structure that it needs to be in order to make it, work to its optimum. That's another thing as well that I haven't put here, that, getting the most out of what is. Focused, this comes back to the determination, it comes back to the discipline. There is an ability in them to really focus on something. I'll tell you what, a Capricorn is not the sort of person you want to lie to, because I promise you, you will crack under their pressure. That's all I'm gonna say. If there are holes in your story, if there are discrepancies or things that don't make sense, a Capricorn will sniff you out. So, and they are another thing that I haven't put here is very intelligent, very, very clever, very professional, very academic minded. These are people that you do not trifle with in the professional or academic world, because I'm telling you, they will beat you out every single time. Accomplishment, right? So one of the things we attribute to a Capricorn is about accomplishing things. It's about achieving things, and it really is. When you think about your career, your status, how you want people to see you, you want people to see your accomplishments. You want people to see your achievements. You want people to see your successes and your wins. And for Capricorn, that's a big thing. Their status, especially that they've earned, is very important to them, because they put so much hard work, time, effort, patience into it. That accomplishment, that sense of accomplishment that they feel after doing a really good job is really important to them, really important. So very realistic, it's an earth sign. It is the master earth sign. It is the earth sign of the mind, of the brain, of the outside external world. Very, very practical, grounded, down to earth, sometimes to the point of being slightly immovable. So realistic. Master builder. Now, when we say the master builder, this could be physically. You find a lot of builders or architects, people that work with infrastructure or actual structures. You'll find a lot of those in a lot of Capricorns in those, and they have this innate sense of how to build something from the ground up, because they're always reaching towards that MC point. There is a sense of taking something from the grassroots and growing it up to the highest of heights that it could possibly reach. A master builder doesn't have to be in terms of physically. This could be in terms of a company, in terms of a self-started business, all of those things. It could even be academically as well. Somebody that says to themselves, right, I want to be a doctor. Someone says, right, well, you're going to have to be in school for at least 10 years on top of the school that you do. And they're like, that doesn't really work for me. I'll do it in 7. Thank you. You know, master builders, the boss, the CEO. These are definitely things that you associate with Capricorn because they have that energy, because they carry that strength, that passion, that need to be in control or to have things done properly. One of the things about Capricorn as well that I really love, that I really enjoy, they are, again, very much I will show you how I expect it to be done, and after that I expect it to be done in that manner. One of the things that they could probably work on is the ability to, you know, say, all right, well, maybe not everybody's going to pick things up as fast as I do, so I'll give them time to pick it up. Steady, you know, dependable. There is something very constant about a Capricorn, which is why I say steady. Knowing, there is an innate knowing, an innate sense of, right, well, I've set my mind on it, I know where I want to be, so I'm going to make sure that that happens. It's kind of like, and when I think of Capricorn, if you have seen The Devil Wears Prada, Miranda, yeah, she is a Capricorn. I don't care whether she is in real life or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. Her character, who she is as a boss, as a person, there is no plan B. There's only plan A, right? That is Capricorn all over. Professional and career, yeah, we talked about that. Kind is one of the things that people rarely attribute to this sign. And maybe because it's wrapped up under so many other layers, because of so many other experiences that they tend to accumulate. But kind, I know all Capricorns that I know, in some way, shape or form, have been very kind or very giving of their resources, of their time, of their, even of their feelings. When they love, Capricorns are like lobsters. When they love properly, they love hard, they're all in. There's no, you know, I'll dip my toe in and see how it goes. It's kind of all or nothing with them, you know, and they tend to know very, very quickly if they are ever going to be able to love somebody, which is why it appears that sometimes they can be a bit callous or a bit cold. It's if they know that they're going to be with you, then they're all in. If they know that they can't be with you, then they're all out. And patient. And I've said this before in all of my weekly and monthly videos, you never want to try to go toe to toe with a Capricorn because they will wait you out. You will probably die of thirst and starvation and sheer boredom before you win out. A Capricorn will wait you out every single time, so don't go toe to toe with them because you just won't win. That's it. You really won't, and we'll talk about why when we get down to there. So those are your blessings and innate beneficial aspects. Let's look at some of the ways that this can be expressed. The Capricorn energy can be expressed when it's unconscious or not necessarily connected to its blessings. Cold. You know, Saturn represents death, it represents restriction, confinement, it represents crystallization. You know, it can be very Capricorn. Ooh, when you have done them a wrong or you've pissed them off, they will cut you like a surgeon. Very, very cold. They hold on to the past. You know, and sometimes and the reason being is because what you've made them feel will crystallize, you know, in that Saturnian sort of way. It will crystallize and they will hold on to that and say, well, actually, you know what, I remember you doing me this wrong 10 years ago on a Tuesday morning at 8:15, and I've not forgotten it, even though it was 7 years ago and 7 years and 5 hours and however many minutes. Do you get what I mean? Very precise, very exacting. And for that reason, you know, that for me, actually, when you think about it, you know, they say that crows will pass on generationally to their offspring. The faces of people who can be trusted and who can't be trusted. That is very much a Capricornian trait. They will hold on to that and say, right, okay, yeah, you did me a wrong. That's fine. I'll cut it off and let it go, but I'm not going to forget it. That's it. You only get one chance with me. That is a Capricorn line, I'm telling you. Emotionally repressed. This is one of the things that they have been accused of, and sometimes this feeds into the whole aspect of being cold. When you're emotionally repressed and you don't show your feelings, or you're unable to articulate your feelings, providing material security, providing all of the things that you like and all of the things that you need, their innate kindness to share their time, their resources, to provide a good environment with nice things. To a Capricorn, that is them showing their feelings or showing their love. If you are somebody who is deeply intuitive and feeling and you need more than that, that's where the issues come in. So if a partner is saying, you know, you don't pay me any attention, or da, 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 and the Capricorn's like, well, I've given you all of this stuff and I've provided this amazing environment and I've done this and I've done that and I've given you time and I've taught you things and listened to you. What more do you want? What they want from you is expression of emotion. It might not necessarily come easy to you. It's not something that is associated with Capricorn at all, right? But if a partner, a loved one, you know, a child or something is complaining about that, that's what they're talking about. So think about that when we talk about emotionally repressed. Don't hold your emotions back. You don't have to be, you know, a lovey-dovey huggy person. Just find a way to communicate how you really feel, as opposed to just providing things or time to somebody. Materialistic, you are an earth sign, you are a cardinal earth sign, you are the earth sign to do with structure and things, money, status, cars, you know, good jobs, fine food, fine wines. If anything else, Saturn, for all of its other things, it actually represents refinement. So materialistic, absolutely. Harsh. I wonder why. Out of all of the other signs, I've always said that you never want to get read by a water sign or an air sign, because they are hardcore. However, Capricorn is the exception to that rule, because I tell you, harsh, whew, when they go, they really, really go, and they tend to have an awful temper that doesn't show itself often. So when it does, fuck me, it can be brutal, like really, really brutal. Stubborn. I've already said this. They will wait you out. They will wait for you to crack under the pressure, under the strain, under the boredom, under the whatever. If they can see the result and they know that you're lying, you're holding back or whatever, they will wait you out. If you want them to budge on something, probably the easiest way for you to do it is to convince them that it was their idea, because otherwise you're just not going to change their mind. Once it's set, it's already set. So in that respect, you will have to either let them learn their own lesson. And one of the things about you guys, you tend to learn them sort of first time. Aquarius and Capricorn tend to be two signs that very rarely make the same mistake. They will just, you know, they'll say, okay, right, I'll draw a line under it. Focused on what's missing. If there is a lack in any way, shape or form in the Capricorn life, they tend to really feel it and they will highlight it and obsess on it. They could have everything else, but they will focus on that one thing that's missing. And that really is an unconscious, and dare I say that, I hate this word, but it is a negative trait, because if you've got everything else and you're just focusing on that one thing that you don't have, ooh, you know, that really does need to be looked at, especially in its unconscious. You know, I believe that focused on what's missing, or that lack mentality or mindset, is what caused the financial crashes that we had in the Capricornian sector of money, finances, banking institutions, etc. They seek to conquer. When you think about a goat, you can see a goat up a tree, up a mountain that's like got an incline like that. They're used to getting their own way and achieving, right? So they seek to conquer everything. And sometimes, especially if they've had, you know, some of the harder life aspects, they will seek to conquer everything, because that means that they have control. And that control, or that need for it, isn't about hurting anybody. It's about protecting themselves, actually. That's where it comes from. Cynical, you know, very, very dry sense of humor. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. That's very Capricornian. Restrictive. This comes down to the Saturnine nature. You know, they will, if something isn't going their way and they can see beyond it, they will restrict that movement or that event or that experience, and they will do so at their own behest. You know, I think there's a line in The Devil Wears Prada when she says, you can see beyond what people want and need, and you can choose for yourself. That is so deeply Capricornian, it is ridiculous. And you know, it makes total sense. So when we talk about restrictive, that's what we mean. And you know, they hold back, and when we talk about restrictive, this is where the emotionally repressed comes from. You know, they will restrict themselves from having too much fun, from having too much enjoyment, for fear of ... fill in the blank. And then finally, mean. Sorry to say it, guys, as much as I love you, you guys can be really mean, really harsh, bordering on cruel, actually. And it is something that you probably need to, if it's unconscious within you, it might be something that you want to look at so that you can change that expression in defense of yourself, in defense of family members, in, you know, in making sure that you don't become a doormat. That would never be a Capricorn anyway. But yeah, you know, keep that in place. But if it's just in everyday life, if it's expressing itself when you've heard that more than once, ask yourself why and what place it's coming from. So, as I always say, I could never fit everything about a single sign in a single 20-minute video. It just isn't possible. There is so much more to a human life, to a human being, to a human expression than you'll ever be able to fit into one 25-minute video. With that said, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance itself. Have an amazing time. I will see you very soon for more videos and for the rest of the zodiac. Take care.